Welcome, Dark Detectives, or as we affectionately call you, our Double Ds, to another spine-tingling episode of Dead, Serious, and Sinister. I'm your co-host, Rose Black, here to guide you through the shadows of unsolved mysteries with just the right balance of curiosity and sass.
And I'm Chena Demise, here to help uncover the truths behind the crimes that haunt our past and shape our present. Each episode, we bring you in-depth discussions on the true crime cases that have captivated the world. From infamous cold cases to baffling mysteries, we're here to explore every detail, every theory, and every chilling twist. Our mission? To honor the victims, seek facts, and shed light on the stories that demand to be heard. So grab a seat and a strong cup of coffee, because we're about to enter a world where the dead speak and we listen. Today, we're exploring a case that has haunted America for almost 3 decades, the tragic murder of JonBenét Ramsey.
JonBenét's story is one of beauty, mystery, and heartbreak. It's been the subject of countless documentaries, books, and conspiracy theories, yet despite all the attention, it remains unsolved.
But recent developments and the relentless pursuit of justice by her family and investigators gives us hope that one day we'll get answers. Let's examine the details of this chilling case and maybe, along the way, uncover something you haven't heard before.
The night of the murder. It was December 26, 1996. The Ramsey family home in Boulder, Colorado. It was decorated for the holidays. They had celebrated Christmas the day before, and everything seemed pretty normal.
That morning, Patsy Ramsey, JonBenét's mother, discovered a ransom note on the stairs. It was bizarre, lengthy, and demanded $118,000 for JonBenét's safe return. But when the police arrived, the situation took a horrifying turn.
Hours later, JonBenét's body was found in the basement. She'd been strangled and her skull fractured. The scene raised more questions than answers.
And the ransom note? Let's unpack that for a moment. It's one of the most puzzling aspects of this case. It was written on paper from inside the home. So who takes the time to write a 2.5-page note in the middle of a kidnapping?
Exactly. And the specific amount, $118,000, matched the bonus John Ramsey had received that year. Was it a personal message or a red herring?
Adding to the mystery, a boot print was found in the basement near JonBenét's body. It didn't match any shoes owned by the Ramsey family. Could this have been a crucial clue?
The ransom note. I'm sure everybody listening wants to hear every detail of this note, as I did. I'm going to do my best to read this naturally. There are mistakes. Some things are scratched out. So bear with me. Here we go. Mr. Ramsey, listen carefully. We are a group of individuals that represent a small foreign faction. We respect your business, but not the country that it serves. At this time, we have your daughter in our possession. She is safe and unharmed, and if you want her to see 1997, you must follow our instruction to the letter. You will withdraw $118,000 from your account. $100,000 will be in $100 bills, and the remaining $18,000 in $20 bills. Make sure that you bring an adequate size attaché to the bank. When you get home, you will put the money in a brown paper bag. I will call you between 8 and 10 a.m. tomorrow to instruct you on delivery. The delivery will be exhausting, so I advise you to be rested. If we monitor you getting the money early, we might call you early to arrange an earlier delivery of the money and hence a earlier delivery marked out pickup of your daughter. My deviation of my instruction Any deviation of my instructions will result in the immediate execution of your daughter. You will also be delivered her remains for proper burial. The 2 gentlemen watching over your daughter do particularly like you, so I advise you not to provoke them. They had amended do, and they added in do not particularly like you. Speaking to anyone about your situation, such as police, FBI, etc., will result in your daughter being beheaded. If we catch you talking to a stray dog, she dies. If you alert bank authorities, she dies. If the money is in any way marked or tampered with, she dies. You will be scanned for electronic devices, and if any are found, she dies. You can try to deceive us, but be warned that we are familiar with the law enforcement, countermeasures, and tactics. You stand a 99% chance of killing your daughter if you try to outsmart us. Follow our instructions, and you stand a 100% chance of getting her back. You and your family are under constant scrutiny as well as the authorities. Don't try to grow a brain, John. You are not the only fat out around, so don't think that killing will be different. Don't underestimate us, John. You are not the only fat cat around, so don't think that killing will be difficult. Don't underestimate us, John. Use that good Southern common sense of yours. It is up to you now, John. Victory. SBTC.
JonBenét's injuries, a silent testimony. One of the most chilling aspects of this case is the array of injuries found on JonBenét's body, each a piece of a puzzle that has yet to be solved. Let's break them down to understand what they might reveal about her final moments. Starting with the most apparent, JonBenét was strangled with a garrote fashioned from a paintbrush handle and a cord. The marks on her neck were distinct, indicating that it was used with force. This ultimately was ruled as the cause of death. Alongside the strangulation was a devastating skull fracture. An autopsy revealed a nearly 8.5-inch crack in her skull, caused by a blunt object. Experts have debated whether the head wound or the strangulation occurred first, but the combination points to a violent and deliberate attack. Then, there were the smaller, unexplained marks on her body, including 2 circular abrasions on her lower back and neck. These have been theorized to come from a stun gun, though not all the experts agree. Some suggest they could have been caused by another object entirely. But let's not overlook the evidence of binding. Her wrists had marks consistent with being tied, though she wasn't bound when her body was discovered. This also suggests she may have been restrained at some point during the attack. Then there's the detail of undigested pineapple found in her stomach. A bowl of pineapple was discovered in the Ramsey kitchen with Patsy and Berg's fingerprints on it. Yet the Ramseys maintained that JonBenét didn't eat pineapple that night. Additionally, there were abrasions and minor bruises on her body, indicating a struggle or possible mishandling. These smaller injuries, while less severe, paint a grim picture of what JonBenét endured. What is clear from these injuries is that this wasn't a simple crime. It was violent, it was methodical, and it was deeply disturbing. Each mark tells a story, but together they form a narrative that is as perplexing as it is heartbreaking. Understanding JonBenét's injuries is crucial to unraveling the truth. Were they inflicted by an intruder, as some theories suggest, or does the evidence point closer to home? It's questions like these that keep this case alive in the minds of the investigators and the public alike.
Key suspects over the years. As we dig deeper into JonBenét Ramsey's case, it's essential to explore the list of key suspects who have come under scrutiny over the years. This case has had no shortage of suspects, from family members to mysterious outsiders. Let's start with the obvious. John and Patsy, the parents, they were heavily scrutinized. Police and media alike speculated that the crime could have been a cover-up for an accident or a family dispute. The grand jury even voted to indict them for child abuse resulting in death, but the district attorney chose not to prosecute. DNA evidence cleared them in 2008, but public suspicion lingered for years. Burke Ramsey, the older brother, was another focus. Some theorists suggested he might have accidentally harmed his sister and that the family staged the scene to protect him. However, no evidence suggested these claims, and Burke has consistently denied any involvement. Bill McReynolds, Santa Claus. A family friend who had played Santa Claus at a holiday party shortly before the murder. He gave JonBenét a card saying she'd receive a special gift after Christmas. While he cooperated fully with the investigation and was ultimately cleared, his connection has fueled ongoing speculation. John Mark Carr, in 2006. Carr confessed to JonBenét's murder, claiming it was an accident during a botched kidnapping. His confession was later discredited when DNA evidence provided he was not there at the scene. Michael Helgoth, a local man with a history of violence and connections to the Ramsey's case. Helgoth came under scrutiny after he was found dead in an apparent suicide shortly after the district attorney announced new suspects were being considered. A stun gun similar to what may have been used on JonBenét was reportedly found among his belongings. And then we have the unidentified male DNA found on her clothing. This DNA has remained one of the most significant pieces of evidence pointing to an intruder. Despite advanced testing, the source of this DNA remains unidentified. Some theorists suggest the crime was committed by a predator who entered through a basement window. This theory gained traction with the discovery of a boot print near JonBenét's body that didn't match anyone in the household. Each suspect brings its own questions, suspicions, and dead ends. The diversity of suspects only underscores the complexity and tragedy of this case. And as the years pass, we're left wondering, will we ever truly know who was responsible for JonBenét's murder? Mistakes made in the investigation. As we examine the investigation into JonBenét's murder, one thing becomes glaringly clear. Mistakes were made, and they've cast a long shadow over this case. From the very start, the handling of the case scene set the tone for the challenges that would follow. When police arrived at the Ramsey home, they failed to properly secure the scene. Friends and family moved freely throughout the house, potentially contaminating crucial evidence. This includes the basement where JonBenét's body was eventually found. John Ramsey himself discovered her body, moved it, and even removed the duct tape from her mouth. While understandably as a father's instinct, it further complicated the ability to preserve evidence. And let's not forget the note. Despite its potential to hold fingerprints or DNA evidence, it was handled by several people before being handed over to the authorities. Another issue was the delay in treating the Ramsey family as potential suspects. It's standard procedure to thoroughly investigate those closest to the victim first, but the Ramseys were not formally interviewed for months. This delay fueled widespread speculation and allowed conspiracy theories to take root in the public's imagination. The media circus also diverted attention from a focused investigation. There's also the lack of immediate coordination between agencies. The Boulder Police Department and the District Attorney's Office were at odds with different theories about who might be responsible. This disjointed approach likely hammered the case. Over the years, some evidence, like the garrote used in the crime, has never undergone modern DNA testing. The question remains, why weren't these items tested sooner, especially as technology advanced? It's a frustrating list of missteps, each one From the mishandling of evidence to the delays in testing and collaboration has kept us further from answers. What stands out to me is that this case, like so many others, highlights the need for proper training, communication, and care in investigations. Mistakes don't just affect evidence, they impact lives in the pursuit of justice. And that's why we keep talking about this case, not just to examine what went wrong, but to remind ourselves of what it will take to get it right.
Patsy Ramsey's role and legacy. So no discussion of the JonBenét Ramsey case would be complete without delving into Patsy Ramsey's role. As JonBenét's mother, Patsy faced immense scrutiny. Some would even say an almost unprecedented level of public judgment. So Patsy Ramsey, who was a former beauty queen herself, she was crowned Miss West Virginia in 1977. Her involvement in JonBenét's pageant life raised a lot of eyebrows, especially after the murder. Critics speculated that Patsy had pushed JonBenét into a lifestyle that made her a target, but many forget how common child pageants were at that time. She became a central figure in the case, partly because of the infamous ransom note. Experts debated whether the handwriting matched Patsy's, and while some analysts suggested similarities, others found no conclusive evidence. Beyond the note, Patsy's public demeanor also drew suspicion. Her grief was completely scrutinized under a microscope. Was she too composed? Was she too emotional? It's really easy to forget how grief manifests in unpredictable ways, especially under the intense public pressure. Despite all the theories, though, Patsy was cleared of any involvement in 2008 through DNA evidence. That didn't stop the court of public opinion from continuing to cast her as a suspect. Sadly, though, Patsy never saw the case resolved. She passed away in 2006 from ovarian cancer, still under the shadow of suspicion. For many, and by all accounts, she remained steadfast in her love for her daughter JonBenét and her belief in their family's innocence. Patsy, her legacy, it's complicated. She remembered as a mother who lost her child in a horrifying way, and as someone who endured unimaginable accusations while battling a terminal illness. Can you imagine? Whether you believe Patsy as a grieving mother or something more sinister, one thing is undeniable. She became a lightning rod for the frustrations surrounding this case. And her passing left us with a poignant reminder. Some of the people at the heart of these cases are victims themselves. Patsy's death underscores the need for empathy, even when the truth remains elusive. So as we revisit this case, it's crucial to separate the fact from speculation and to completely honor the human beings at the center of it.
Recent developments. Fast forward to December 2023. The Boulder Police Department partnered with the Colorado Cold Case Review Team to re-examine the case. This includes using advanced DNA testing techniques. They reviewed over 21,000 tips, conducted more than 1,000 interviews, and tested DNA samples from over 200 individuals. It's a massive undertaking. Since Patsy has since passed of her recurrent ovarian cancer, JonBenét's father remains an outspoken advocate for justice. In conclusion, JonBenét's murder is more than a mystery. It's a tragedy that robbed a little girl of her future. The unanswered questions keep us intrigued, but we can't forget the human cost.
As advances in technology and persistent efforts continue, we hold out hope for justice, and maybe, just maybe, JonBenét's story will have the resolution it deserves.
Speaking of advancements, there are ongoing efforts to utilize advanced DNA testing in the case. John Ramsey recently pushed for forensic genetic genealogy to be applied to evidence that has never been tested. The Boulder Police Department has also partnered with the Colorado Cold Case Review Team to explore every viable lead.
It's worth noting that some items like the garrote used in the crime have never undergone any modern DNA testing. This renewed focus gives us hope that the answers might finally be within reach.
Before we wrap up today's episode, we want to share a preview of our next case, one that remains a haunting mystery.
Now, I do have to say, this particular case has been on my mind since I was a little girl. This comes from my hometown of Oak Harbor, Washington. It's from, I want to say, 1997, and it's about a 7-year-old little girl named Deborah Palmer. She vanished on her way to school, and about 5 days later, her body was discovered on a secluded beach, leaving our entire community in shock. And this case is still unsolved today.
Join us next time on Dead, Serious, and Sinister as we delve into the details of Deborah's disappearance, the investigation that followed, and the enduring quest for justice.
So please stay tuned for this compelling episode.
Thank you for joining us today. If you want to learn more, check out the links in our show notes, including the Netflix docuseries and recent case updates. Don't forget to explore the documentaries on Peacock for more insights into this chilling case. And as always, stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you next time on Dead, Serious, and Sinister.